Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to Aquatope on the White Sand episode 12 review. I can't believe I've been doing this for 12 weeks now. I know some of you are really enjoying these, and I really appreciate that. Thank you guys so much. I think I finally found a little bit of extra time to be able to get some of this other stuff that I have planned for you guys out, and currently, if you are over on my Lull Soon channel, which are not many of you, I am currently working on a new Pokemon challenges for that channel, so be looking out for that here in about the next week or so over there. Speaking of my Lull Soon channel, I have uploaded 2 Pokemon challenges videos over there, and I have privated those same videos over here so now you can actually find the channel through a YouTube search now. Alright, enough of that. Remember that we are also on that 250 sub goal for the end of the year and the 1000 by Anime Expo next summer. If we hit the 1000, get really close, or break it, then I will cosplay as Inori Zuriha, the entire cosplay. Yes, I mean literally everything, the makeup, the hair, the clothes, the shoes, whatever. And I will have the best moments recorded, edited, and uploaded here for your enjoyment. So that means that if you want to see something as cool and awesome as crazy as that, then you have to subscribe, and if you leave a comment, it really helps the YouTube algorithm out, which gets my channel recommended to more people. Last couple things, remember, follow me on Twitter at TheRisenYT, and I talk about all anime Pokemon gaming over there when I have the time. Obviously, usually I'm there more often than I have been, and finally, at 200 subscribers, I'll be rolling out a Patreon with all that reward information as well on the same day. Let's get on to Aquatope on the White Sand episode 12 review now. I swear I'm not out of breath. One dream may have ended, but another is just about to begin. Dreams are finite until you've either given up on them or you've achieved them, and that's the hard lesson that we finally saw was learned this week. Life is difficult sometimes, but when we have someone there who has our back, the possibilities can seem endless. I think this is a realization that Kukuru and Fuuka both came to the conclusion of this week. With Kukuru having admitted her dream was over, she now tries to push Fuuka forward into her dream. Do it for me. While everyone maintained a smile to some degree, it wasn't hard to tell what everyone was feeling. When you show love for something that's also alive, it makes you a kinder person, and I feel that's what we learned from this episode too. Something in the back of my mind just kept telling me though, there's no way they can close Gama Gama. But I'm shocked that they actually did. I know it really was kind of an inevitable thing, but everyone worked so hard, especially Kukuru, and to see hard work be rewarded with sadness and goodbyes stings. And now that episode 12 closes out the first core of the anime, I have to say, it did an excellent job at keeping its focus on Gama Gama and the 2 girls, Kukuru and Fuuka. This first core was set up in a way that led us all to believe that everything would work out in the end, that it would all be okay. I mean, just look at the title of my episode 5 review. While this is not the reality anyone hoped for, I wouldn't say it's over yet. The second core starts with episode 13 next week, and for once, I can't even begin to predict what will happen. The initial impressions I got from the anime this week really boiled down to about 3 different things: sadness, love, and perseverance. Sadness is kinda self-explanatory. The animals have begun their transition to new homes, which only further cements the fact that Gama Gama is officially closed. The sad expressions on Kukuru's face are really what bring this home though. She has done everything up until the last possible second, and to watch those doors close for the last time nearly broke her, I'm sure. However, even with Gama Gama closed, the love for the aquarium and all of the animals will never fade, no matter how far away they may be from their original caretakers. In some ways, the animals are a personification of Kukuru's heart. They represent something that has always been a part of her and fill the void that was never mended early on. Love can be happy and joyful, but love can also mean sadness and heartbreak because of that love. This is a reality that Kukuru has had to come to for only the 2nd time in her life now. However, the perseverance aspect of it all comes from who you would least expect it from, Kukuru. She continually acknowledges her failures, but it's those very failures that are what made her a great director and a great friend. Furthermore, this seems to have a profound effect on Fuuka as well. More on that later. Perseverance is not giving up even when things get tough, and even though there were moments that it seemed like we were headed in the wrong direction, we ultimately ended up back on the right track again. The spotlight for Fuuka has been noticeably less than usual since Chi was introduced, but this was done in an attempt to give Kukuru the spotlight that Fuuka had early on. We needed to learn more about what makes Kukuru tick and why. That's not to say Fuuka didn't have any important roles or moments, however. This episode is an excellent example of that. While she was likely reluctant to leave after settling into a completely different world, what got me was how she remained optimistic the entire time. She doesn't even shed tears like Kukuru does, and this has been an obvious trend. Fuuka is a very optimistic person, but most of what she feels is bottled up inside of her. Recall in episode 1 that Fuuka acted largely upon impulse. This time, she rebooks her flight and drops everything to find Kukuru. Somewhere in her heart, she knew she couldn't leave her behind just yet. Sure, she could text or call anytime, but that's not the same as the type of bond they've shared now for the last 12 episodes. Fuuka booked it back to the airport entrance just to find Kukuru to make sure she was going to be okay. After all, it was Kukuru that encouraged her to take the movie role in Tokyo for her. Fuuka is very mother-like, and I don't know if I've previously mentioned this or not, but she's the perfect pair to Kukuru's life, and there's no changing that. These two were meant to find each other in what can only be described as destiny. They were fated, and their little reunion towards the end proves it. Impulse is crazy because you don't know what will happen after, and I can very easily see that this being a lesson that Fuuka learns very well. As I have frequently said before, Kukuru did everything she could to keep Gama Gama open. This hard work and determination has not gone unnoticed though, as she's offered a management role over at Tingara. But whether or not she takes it will depend solely on what Kukuru has chosen to prioritize in her life, now that Fuuka has left. Of course, it makes you wonder, what about her relationship with Chiyu? While I doubt either of them would be real happy to see each other again, I could also see a very sincere apology to Chiyu as well, seeing as Kukuru has grown a lot in the last month that Fuuka has been with her. She doesn't just shut down anymore, and instead has begun to try and plan what her life will hold for her, now that her original dream has come to a close. When she asks Fuuka to take the lead role in Tokyo so that Fuuka doesn't let her dream end, it was almost pleading, and I'll explain why. Towards the end of last week's episode, we saw Fuuka admit to Kukuru that everything she's been doing has been for herself. But she didn't realize that what she thought was for Kukuru was really only working in her favor. This is not a bad thing, and it was the most important part of last week's episode. Fuuka became stronger because of Kukuru, which inadvertently became for Kukuru. Now, we see Kukuru telling Fuuka how she needs her to not let her dream end so that she can be strong. After all, Fuuka would come running right back if there wasn't a smile on Kukuru's face, and I love that. It really shows how much their bond has grown since episode and day 1. And now for our relationships and world building stuff, I'm gonna get this out of the way now since there are some Aquatope fans who are dead set on this being a Yuri. I won't say you're wrong, there's definitely a very unique and powerful relationship between the two, but I'm hesitant to call this a Yuri. And by the two, I mean Kukuru and Fuuka, obviously. There just has not been enough of a romantic presence between the two girls yet. However, what episode 12 told me is that this relationship is not done manifesting itself yet. Fuuka dropped everything and rescheduled her flight to Tokyo to run back and make sure Kukuru was going to be alright without her. Once she found Kukuru, she threw her suitcase down and hug-tackled her in an embrace that we have not seen at all. It was reassuring though. They may be in entirely different parts of the country, but the love that is hidden deep within their hearts will not fade. While I don't like that their worlds will drift apart, I don't think they'll drift too far. Kukuru has to be strong for Fuuka and must now focus on what her next dream will be, that of which I'm very excited to find out about. Fuuka must focus on her dream for herself and what will come of her educational pursuits as well. There are still a large number of unknowns, but I feel reassured that Fuuka and Kukuru won't be too far from each other. Whether it's Tokyo or it's Okinawa, love can't measure distance and is still a pure emotion in its truest form regardless. As with the last very dramatic PA Works anime, one that a lot of people will refer back to, this coming second core will either be incredibly amazing for both the girls, or we could find ourselves with a Nagi Asu type of situation where everyone ends up struggling with who they are and where they belong. Episode 13 starts the second core next week, and that will air sometime Thursday morning for viewers in the US. So we're just gonna have to see exactly what the second core brings us next week, and I think this could be a very interesting surprise. But I would like to know what you guys thought, so make sure you leave a comment down below in the comment section, and I love to see your comments and I love to reply to you guys, so definitely keep it coming. Finally, remember that Aquatope is always on Friday or Saturday with these uploads, so definitely be sure to look out for those and make sure you're caught up before you watch these episodes. Alright, well, I'm gonna close things out here. I hope you guys really enjoyed this week, and it was definitely a very interesting experience. So as always, make sure you subscribe and definitely leave a comment. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. That much I can promise you. Alright, well, thank you very much for watching if you made it this far, and I'll see you guys later. John A.